Ever notice how some stories just stick with you? Like they really get under your skin and you can't shake them?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's kind of what we're diving into today.
Okay.
An incredible life story told on a recent episode of Timeless Talks that really digs into what survival means.
Gotcha.
And it goes way beyond winning medals.
Hmm.
It's about making it through truly horrific experiences.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, and that's exactly where this story starts.
Wow, okay.
So are you ready to unpack the incredible journey of Milkha Singh,
The Flying Sikh.
the one and only?
Absolutely, let's do it. His story is remarkable.
It really is. I mean, to go from the unimaginable tragedy of the partition of India to becoming a global sports icon,
It's almost hard to believe.
right? It really makes you think about how pain, even the most profound kind, can sometimes pave the way for incredible achievements,
I'm with you.
like finding purpose in the face of unimaginable loss.
Really powerful stuff.
So let's set the stage.
Okay.
The partition of India in 1947,
Right.
a truly tumultuous period.
Absolutely.
The Timeless Talks episode we're referencing really paints a vivid picture of the chaos and violence, especially in Punjab, where Milkha Singh's story begins.
Yeah, it was a brutal time.
I mean, it wasn't just about lines on a map changing.
No.
It was about widespread displacement and unimaginable suffering.
It was.
They described it as, and this image really stuck with me, trains carrying not passengers, but pain.
Wow. Just think about that for a second.
Hard to even fathom, right?
Yeah. Just trying to imagine the sheer scale of suffering during that time is, well, it's almost impossible.
And in the middle of all this, we have 12-year-old Milkha Singh.
Just a kid.
And he witnessed something that no one, let alone a child, should ever have to see.
It's
The
horrific.
brutal murder of his entire family.
Mm.
His parents, his brother, and his sister.
It's just beyond words.
To experience that kind of loss at such a young age,
It's incomprehensible.
it's hard to even begin to understand the impact. And in that moment of absolute terror, his instinct was to run.
To escape.
Just run. And that's what he did.
Barefoot, right?
Barefoot. No food, no direction, just pure survival instinct propelling him forward.
That's incredible.
And the Timeless Talks episode really frames this desperate flight as his first race.
His first race.
Not a race for a medal or glory or anything like that, but a race for his life.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It completely reframes the idea of a race.
And in a lot of ways, it feels like this moment, this desperate act of survival, really set the stage for everything that followed in his life.
I think you're right. I mean, that kind of trauma, it leaves a mark.
Absolutely.
So he manages to escape, but then what?
Right.
Where does he end up?
He ends up in a refugee camp in Delhi,
Alone.
completely alone, and hungry, homeless, surrounded by countless others who had also lost everything.
It's heartbreaking.
And he's forced to do whatever it takes just to survive, even stealing food,
Oh.
which, as you might imagine, lands him in trouble.
Makes sense, unfortunately.
Yeah. He actually spent some time in a juvenile jail.
Really?
And there's this incredibly poignant moment described where the judge asks him, "What will you do with your life, Milkha?"
Oh, man. I can't imagine being asked that question after all he had been through.
Right. And in that moment, he had no answer.
Because what could he say?
Exactly. His world had been shattered, his family taken from him, and he was left with nothing but this profound sense of loss and uncertainty.
It's almost too much to bear.
It is.
Mm.
So here he is at this absolute low point. It would be easy to give up, to succumb to despair,
Yeah.
but something shifts.
Yeah.
He makes a decision that ultimately alters the course of his life.
He joins the army.
He does, the Indian Army.
That seems like a huge turning point.
It was. But initially, it wasn't driven by some grand sense of patriotism or ambition.
Okay.
It was far more basic than that.
Are you listening?
He needed food.
Of course.
He needed shelter.
Basic survival.
Exactly. The things that had been so cruelly ripped away from him.
It's understandable.
And the Army offered that stability.
Security.
A sense of belonging, even.
Yeah.
But here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
During a routine physical assessment, he's asked to participate in a 400-meter race.
Right.
And let's just say he kind of blew everyone away.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. And it wasn't like he was some trained athlete at this point.
Yeah.
It was pure raw talent.
Like he just came out of nowhere.
It was this untamed, almost primal speed.
And everyone's just watching like, whoa.
It was like this explosion of energy, driven by something deep within him.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
It was pretty incredible. And the coach, he said something really insightful about Milkha's running style.
What was that?
He said, "This boy doesn't run with his legs. He runs with his soul."
Wow.
That's heavy. Makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does.
Like, was this the trauma he had endured, the very thing he was running from, now becoming the fuel for his incredible speed?
Almost like he was channeling all that pain and loss into this incredible physical feat.
Yeah. And in a way, this unexpected talent, this discovery of his ability to run, it felt like a kind of rebirth for him.
A new beginning.
Yeah. And from that moment on, his life takes a dramatically different path.
He starts training seriously.
He goes all in. The Timeless Talks episode details his training regimen, and it was intense.
I bet.
We're talking tying iron weights to his legs, running on sand, pushing himself to his absolute limits day after day.
That's dedication.
It was relentless. And it speaks to his incredible willpower and determination. He wasn't just relying on natural ability. He was forging something extraordinary through sheer effort.
Yeah, he was shaping his own destiny.
Exactly.
Oh.
And the results were pretty remarkable. By the late 1950s, he was shattering national records in the 400 meters,
Really?
winning gold medals at the Asian Games.
Wow. He was unstoppable.
It was an incredible rise to the top. And then came the 1958 Commonwealth Games.
A huge stage.
He won gold there, too. And it was a historic victory. He became the first Indian to win gold in a track event at the Commonwealth Games.
That's incredible. Talk about making history.
Right. He wasn't just an athlete anymore. He was a national hero, a symbol of hope and achievement for a newly independent India.
His story must have resonated with so many people.
Absolutely. And then all eyes turned to the 1960 Rome Olympics.
The biggest stage of all.
You can just imagine the anticipation. The entire nation was holding its breath, hoping for another historic win.
The pressure must have been immense.
It was. And he was considered a real contender for a medal. And get this, in the 400-meter final, he was actually in the lead.
No way. Leading the pack at the Olympics.
Yeah, it was incredible. You can picture it, can't you?
The crowd going wild.
The tension, the excitement.
The culmination of all his struggles and hard work, the hopes of an entire nation resting on his shoulders.
And just as he's approaching the finish line,
What happened?
he hesitated. Just for a split second.
Oh, no.
He glanced over at the other runners, and that momentary lapse in focus.
It cost him.
It did. He got overtaken and ended up finishing in fourth place.
So close.
Less than a tenth of a second behind the bronze medalist.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It was a devastating near miss. After all he'd overcome, to come so close to an Olympic medal only to fall short at the last moment.
Yeah, I can only imagine the disappointment.
But here's the thing. Even though he didn't win a medal, the Timeless Talks episode really emphasizes how his story resonated with people back in India.
I can see why.
Their admiration for him only grew stronger.
It went beyond the sport itself, didn't it?
It did. I think people saw his journey, his resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity as something truly inspiring.
Absolutely. It transcended the Olympics. It became about the triumph of the human spirit.
And that brings us to the moment when he earned his iconic title.
The Flying Sikh.
Exactly.
So how did that come about?
Well, after the disappointment of the Rome Olympics, he competed in a race in Pakistan.
Okay.
And not only did he win, he absolutely dominated the race. And it caught the attention of General Ayub Khan, the president of Pakistan at the time.
Wait, the president of Pakistan was impressed by an Indian athlete.
Yeah, it was a pretty remarkable moment. And Ayub Khan, he said something that really stuck. Milkha didn't run today. He flew.
And that's how he became the Flying Sikh.
That's right. And it's such a fitting title, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, he was known for his incredible speed and grace on the track.
Almost like he was defying gravity.
Exactly. And his story, it just took flight from there.
And what's really striking, especially as highlighted in the Timeless Talks episode, is Milkha Singh's humility despite all the fame and accolades.
Yeah, he never let it go to his head.
He didn't seem interested in the trappings of fame or fortune. In fact, he famously gave away all his medals.
Really? All of them?
He did. And he chose to live a very simple life, dedicating much of his time to training young athletes.
He was giving back.
He was. It was like his focus was always on the spirit of competition, on nurturing potential in others, rather than on personal glory.
That's pretty inspiring.
It is. And the Timeless Talks episode, it ends on a really poignant note, acknowledging his passing in 2021 at the age of 91.
Wow.
But there's this line that really stuck with me. Legends don't die, they echo.
That's
It
beautiful.
really captures his lasting legacy, not just in the world of sports, but as an inspiration to people all over the world.
And his story, it continues to inspire, doesn't it?
It does. And it makes you think about what's possible even when faced with unimaginable challenges.
Absolutely.
There's this quote from Milkha Singh that really captures the essence of his philosophy. He said, "You can achieve anything in life. It just depends on how desperate you are to achieve it."
Wow. That's powerful.
And you consider everything he went through, the sheer desperation he must have felt at times, those words really hit home.
Yeah.
And the Timeless Talks episode, it leaves us with this powerful image.
Okay.
It talks about the barefoot boy who didn't run for glory. He ran for survival. And in doing so, he became a symbol of resilience
At hope.
and hope. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, even when it feels like all is lost, the human spirit can find a way to endure and even thrive.
I think that's something we can all take away from his story.
Absolutely. It's a story about the power of the human spirit to overcome adversity and find meaning, even in the face of tragedy.
That's pretty profound.
It is. So as you go about your day, as you face your own challenges and obstacles, maybe think about Milkha Singh,
The Flying Sikh.
the Flying Sikh. Remember his story and the incredible resilience he embodied.
It's a good reminder that we all have that strength within us.
We do. And sometimes it just takes a little spark to ignite it.
That's a great takeaway.
Yeah. And you know what? There's one more thing I wanted to touch on.
Okay.
It's something that the Timeless Talks episode really made me think about.
What's that?
How did Milkha Singh's early trauma, that horrific experience of losing his family, shape his incredible determination?
That's an interesting question.
Was his running, at least initially, a way of escaping the pain?
Running from the ghosts of his past.
Yeah. Or did it eventually become something more?
Something empowering.
A way of reclaiming his life and finding a sense of agency in a world that had felt so chaotic and unpredictable.
Like he was taking control.
Exactly. And I think that's something worth pondering. How can we, in our own lives, transform our pain into something positive, into a source of strength and growth?
It's a powerful question.
It is. And Milkha Singh's story, it offers a glimpse into that incredible potential for transformation.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's a great place to wrap things up.
Yeah, this was a really insightful deep dive.
It was. Thanks for joining us as we explored the remarkable life of Milkha Singh, the Flying Sikh.
A true legend.
A true legend.
And thanks to Timeless Talks for bringing his story to light.
Absolutely. And all our listeners out there, thanks for tuning in. Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.